Imagine a young boy named Temujin, born into the harsh Mongolian steppe, facing constant threats from rival tribes and struggling to survive. How did this boy grow up to become Genghis Khan, the founder of the largest contiguous empire in history? At its peak, the Mongol Empire covered 16% of the Earth's total land area. That's larger than any empire before. Today, we're about to dive into the story of how Genghis Khan and his Mongol warriors achieved the unthinkable, conquering vast lands and creating an empire that stretched from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe. Stay with us to discover the alliances, military brilliance, and iron will that made this meteoric rise possible. Before we get started, if you're excited to learn more about the rise of the Mongol Empire under Genghis Khan, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more similar content. And while you're watching, let us know in the comments which part of the documentary was the most interesting to you. The Rise of Temujin. As we dive into the origins of the Mongol Empire, we encounter Temujin, a young boy who would eventually become the legendary Genghis Khan. Born into a world of constant danger and betrayal, how did this child not only survive, but go on to create one of history's most formidable fighting forces? The answer lies in a combination of cunning, resilience, and an unwavering vision that would reshape the world. Temujin's early life was shaped by the harsh realities of the Mongolian steppe. Born around 1162, he faced a childhood marked by hardship and struggle. The steppe was a land of fierce competition, where rival tribes constantly vied for power and resources. For young Temujin, survival was a daily challenge. The turning point in Temujin's life came when he was just 9 years old. His father, Yassa, was poisoned by a rival tribe, leaving the family vulnerable. In the wake of this tragedy, Temujin's father's allies abandoned them, seeing no value in supporting a widow and her young children. The betrayal forced Temujin, his mother Kholun, and his siblings into a life of poverty and exile. Kholun played a crucial role in Temujin's survival and development during these difficult years. A strong and resourceful woman, she taught her children how to forage for food and avoid danger. Her influence on Temujin was profound, instilling in him a fierce determination and a keen understanding of the importance of loyalty. Life as an outcast was brutal. Temujin and his family subsisted on small animals, wild fruits, and roots. They faced constant threats from other tribes and even from within their own clan. This harsh existence honed Temujin's survival skills and developed his ability to read people and situations, traits that would serve him well in his future conquests. One of the most defining moments of Temujin's youth came when he was captured and enslaved by a rival tribe. Showing the resourcefulness and determination that would become his hallmarks, Temujin managed to escape. This experience not only demonstrated his resilience, but also gave him valuable insights into the weaknesses of tribal society. As Temujin grew older, he began to form alliances that would prove crucial to his rise to power. One of the earliest and most significant bonds was with Jamuka, a childhood friend who would later become both ally and rival. This relationship taught Temujin important lessons about the complexities of leadership and the nature of loyalty. The challenges Temujin faced in his youth fostered in him a vision of a unified Mongol people. He saw firsthand the weaknesses and instability that came from constant tribal warfare and betrayal. This experience shaped his belief that only through unity could the Mongol people achieve greatness and security. Temujin's early life was a crucible that forged the man who would become Genghis Khan. The lessons he learned about survival, loyalty, and leadership were hard-won through experiences of betrayal, hardship, and perseverance. These formative years laid the foundation for his ability to inspire loyalty, his tactical brilliance, and his vision of a united Mongol nation. Uniting the Mongol tribes. Temujin's first step toward unification was to rally support from smaller tribes. He recognized that building a power base required more than just military might. It demanded strategic alliances and diplomatic finesse. Temujin began forging relationships with influential leaders, often sealing these bonds through marriage alliances. This approach not only strengthened his position, but also created a network of loyal supporters who would prove crucial in the conflicts to come. As Temujin's influence grew, he faced resistance from larger tribal confederations. The Merkits and Tatars, long-standing rivals of Temujin's tribe, posed significant threats. Temujin met these challenges head-on, engaging in a series of battles that would test his military acumen and leadership skills. His tactics often involved dividing enemy forces, exploiting their weaknesses, and striking with precision and speed. These victories not only expanded Temujin's territory, but also demonstrated his capability as a military leader, attracting more followers to his cause. One of Temujin's most revolutionary ideas was his emphasis on loyalty and merit over traditional tribal affiliations. In a society where one's position was largely determined by birth, Temujin introduced a system where skill, loyalty, and contribution to the group were the primary measures of worth. This meritocracy allowed talented individuals from all backgrounds to rise through the ranks, creating a diverse and capable leadership corps. It also helped break down long-standing tribal barriers, as people began to identify more with Temujin's vision than with their ancestral ties. The culmination of Temujin's unification efforts came in 1206 at the Grand Kurultai, or Tribal Council. Here, representatives from various Mongol tribes gathered to decide the future of their people. In a historic moment, Temujin was declared Genghis Khan, which roughly translates to universal ruler or oceanic leader. This title symbolized more than just Temujin's personal achievement. It marked the birth of a unified Mongol nation, ready to take on the world. With his position secure, Genghis Khan set about implementing laws and social reforms to stabilize Mongol society. He introduced the Yassa, a code of laws that governed everything from military discipline to social behavior. These laws helped reduce internal conflicts and created a more cohesive society. Genghis Khan also reorganized the military, introducing the decimal system where units were organized in groups of 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000. This structure improved communication and coordination, making the Mongol army a formidable fighting force. The unification of the Mongol tribes under Genghis Khan had far-reaching consequences. It transformed a collection of warring nomads into a disciplined and unified force capable of launching expansive campaigns. The combined resources, manpower, and military expertise of the unified Mongols would soon be directed outward, setting the stage for conquests that would reshape the world. The birth of Genghis Khan. The Mongols were ready to expand, but one important element was missing. What title would Temujin take to change his identity and the future of his people? The title of Genghis Khan was not just a name. It was the key to building an empire. In 1206, the grand gathering known as the Kurultai took place on the banks of the Anan River. This assembly of Mongol tribes marked a turning point in history. Here, Temujin, the man who had united the warring clans, was bestowed with a title that would echo through the ages: Genghis Khan. The name Genghis Khan carried profound significance. While its exact meaning is debated, it's often translated as universal ruler or oceanic leader. This title wasn't merely honorific. It symbolized Temujin's supreme authority over all Mongol tribes and his vision of expansive rule. The transformation from Temujin to Genghis Khan represented more than just a change in nomenclature. It signaled the birth of a new era for the Mongol people. With his new title, Genghis Khan set about reorganizing Mongol society. He implemented a merit-based system that would revolutionize their social structure. No longer would one's birth determine their station in life. Instead, skill, loyalty, and contribution to the group became the primary measures of worth. This meritocracy allowed talented individuals from all backgrounds to rise through the ranks, creating a diverse and capable leadership corps. The military underwent a significant overhaul under Genghis Khan's rule. He introduced the decimal system, organizing units into groups of 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000. This structure improved communication and coordination, transforming the Mongol army into a formidable fighting force. The new system allowed for rapid mobilization and efficient command, key factors in the Mongols' future military successes. To solidify his control and establish order across the Mongol tribes, Genghis Khan created the Yassa, a comprehensive code of laws. The Yassa covered a wide range of societal aspects from military discipline to social behavior. It provided a framework for justice and governance, reducing internal conflicts and fostering a more cohesive society. The Yassa became the backbone of Mongol administration, its influence extending far beyond the steppes as the empire expanded. Genghis Khan's leadership transformed the Mongols from a collection of scattered tribes into a disciplined and cohesive force. He instilled a sense of national identity that transcended traditional tribal affiliations. This newfound unity gave the Mongols a shared purpose and collective strength that would prove instrumental in their future conquests. The changes implemented by Genghis Khan had far-reaching effects on Mongol society. The emphasis on merit over birth opened up new opportunities for social mobility. The military reorganization created a more effective fighting force. The Yassa provided a stable legal framework. Together, these reforms laid the groundwork for the Mongol Empire's rapid expansion. Genghis Khan's early actions as ruler set the stage for unprecedented territorial growth. By creating a unified, disciplined, and motivated force, he prepared the Mongols for campaigns that would stretch far beyond their traditional lands. The transformation from a confederation of nomadic tribes to a centralized state with a powerful military machine was complete. Mongol warfare and strategy. The unified Mongol state was just the beginning. Genghis Khan's true genius lay in his revolutionary approach to combat. His tactics would turn a nomadic cavalry into history's most feared fighting force. The Mongol army under Genghis Khan became known for its innovative military strategies that set them apart from their enemies. At the heart of their success was the use of highly mobile cavalry units, emphasizing speed, maneuverability, and effective communication. The Mongol horsemen were exceptional riders from a young age, capable of shooting arrows accurately while at a full gallop. This skill allowed them to use hit-and-run tactics, overwhelming enemies with a hail of arrows before quickly retreating. The mobility of their cavalry also enabled rapid deployment and the ability to outmaneuver larger, less agile forces. Communication was key to coordinating these fast-moving units across vast distances. The Mongols developed an efficient system of messengers and signal flags to relay orders quickly across the battlefield. This allowed them to react swiftly to changing situations and maintain cohesion even when their forces were spread out. Genghis Khan also recognized the power of psychological warfare. The Mongols would often spread fear and propaganda to weaken enemy morale before battles. They cultivated a fearsome reputation, sometimes deliberately exaggerating accounts of their conquests to intimidate future opponents. This strategy often led to cities surrendering without a fight, saving resources and minimizing Mongol casualties. Intelligence gathering and reconnaissance were crucial components of Mongol warfare. Genghis Khan placed great emphasis on understanding enemy positions, strengths, and weaknesses before engaging in battle. He would send scouts ahead of the main army to gather information and map out terrain. This intelligence allowed the Mongols to plan their attacks more effectively and exploit enemy vulnerabilities. One of Genghis Khan's most remarkable qualities was his adaptability. As the Mongols encountered new challenges and enemies, they quickly learned and incorporated new tactics and technologies. For example, when faced with fortified cities, they adopted and improved upon siege warfare techniques learned from conquered peoples. They became adept at using catapults, battering rams, and other siege engines, often employing captured engineers to operate these devices. Discipline was another hallmark of the Mongol army. Genghis Khan implemented a clear chain of command and strict military regulations. Soldiers were organized into units of 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000, with each level having a designated leader. This structure ensured efficient communication of orders and allowed for coordinated movements of large forces. The Mongol army also displayed remarkable endurance and self-sufficiency. Soldiers were trained to live off the land, carrying dried meat and fermented mare's milk for sustenance. This allowed them to travel light and fast, covering vast distances without the need for supply lines. Each warrior typically had multiple horses, allowing them to switch mounts and maintain a rapid pace over long campaigns. Genghis Khan's military innovations extended to logistics as well. He organized his forces into separate wings: left, right, and center, each capable of operating independently. This allowed for complex maneuvers and the ability to engage multiple enemies simultaneously. The Mongols also mastered the art of the feigned retreat, luring overconfident enemies into traps or ambushes. The invasion of the Western Xia. The Western Xia, also known as the Tangut Empire, was a powerful neighboring state that controlled strategic trade routes and valuable resources. Genghis Khan recognized that conquering this kingdom would not only secure the Mongol borders, but also provide a crucial testing ground for his newly unified army. In 1205, Genghis Khan made his first move against the Western Xia. True to his strategic nature, he initially attempted a diplomatic approach. He sent envoys to the Western Xia court, seeking their submission and cooperation. However, the Tangut rulers, confident in their fortified cities and military strength, rejected the Mongol overtures. This refusal left Genghis Khan with no choice but to resort to military action. The invasion of Western Xia presented unique challenges for the Mongol army. Unlike the open steppes where they excelled, the Tanguts relied on a network of fortified cities and complex irrigation systems. These defenses forced Genghis Khan to adapt his tactics and develop new strategies for siege warfare. Intelligence gathering played a crucial role in the Mongol campaign. Genghis Khan sent scouts ahead to map the terrain and identify weaknesses in the Western Xia defenses. This information allowed him to plan targeted attacks and exploit vulnerabilities in the Tangut fortifications. The Mongols employed a combination of traditional cavalry tactics and innovation siege techniques. They used their superior mobility to isolate individual cities, cutting off supply lines and communication. When faced with fortified walls, they used siege engines such as catapults and battering rams, often employing captured engineers to operate these unfamiliar devices. Psychological warfare also played a significant role in the Mongol strategy. They spread tales of their ferocity and military prowess, instilling fear in the enemy before the battle even began. This tactic often led to the surrender of cities without a fight, saving resources and minimizing Mongol casualties. One of the most significant battles of the campaign took place at the Tangut capital of Yinchuan. The city's strong walls and advanced irrigation system posed a formidable challenge. In a display of tactical ingenuity, Genghis Khan ordered his troops to divert the nearby Huanghe, or Yellow River, flooding the city and forcing its surrender. The conquest of Western Xia took several years and was not without setbacks. The Tanguts fought fiercely to defend their homeland, and the Mongols faced difficulties adapting to the unfamiliar terrain in siege warfare. However, these challenges ultimately served to strengthen and refine the Mongol military machine. By 1210, Genghis Khan had achieved his goal of subjugating the Western Xia. The kingdom became a vassal state of the Mongol Empire, required to pay tribute and provide military support for future campaigns. This victory had far-reaching consequences for the Mongols. The conquest of Western Xia provided the Mongols with access to vital trade routes, including parts of the Silk Road. This not only enriched the empire through trade, but also opened up new avenues for future expansion. The Tangut territory also offered valuable resources, including skilled craftsmen and artisans who would contribute to the Mongol war effort. Perhaps most importantly, the Western Xia campaign served as a proving ground for Mongol military tactics. The experience gained in siege warfare and the adaptation to new types of terrain would prove invaluable in future conquests. The Mongol army emerged from this campaign more versatile and battle-hardened, ready to take on even greater campaigns. Conquest of the Jin Dynasty. With their army now battle-tested, Genghis Khan set his sights on an even greater prize. The Jin Dynasty, a formidable power controlling northern China, stood as the next challenge in the Mongol path to dominance. This wealthy kingdom, with its advanced technology and fortified cities, would push Genghis Khan's tactical genius to its limits. The Jin Dynasty, established by the Jurchen people, had ruled northern China for nearly a century. Their territory encompassed vast fertile lands and valuable resources, making them a tempting target for Mongol expansion. For Genghis Khan, conquering the Jin wasn't just about territorial gain. It was a strategic necessity to secure the Mongol Empire's southern borders and gain access to Chinese wealth and agricultural production. Internal conflicts between the Mongols and the Jin began as early as 1211. Genghis Khan employed a strategy of rapid cavalry raids to weaken Jin defenses and test their military response. These swift attacks allowed the Mongols to assess Jin's strengths and vulnerabilities while avoiding prolonged engagements that could deplete their forces. The Jin, however, were not an easy target. Their cities were well fortified, protected by massive walls and advanced defensive technologies. This presented a significant challenge for the Mongol army, which had primarily excelled in open-field battles. Genghis Khan recognized the need to adapt his tactics and drew upon the lessons learned during the Western Xia campaign. The Mongols began to refine their siege warfare techniques. They incorporated the use of catapults, battering rams, and other siege engines, often employing captured engineers to operate these devices. This adaptation allowed them to effectively assault the Jin's fortified positions, a crucial development in their military capabilities. Intelligence gathering played a pivotal role in the Mongol strategy against the Jin. Genghis Khan sent spies and scouts deep into Jin territory to gather information on troop movements, fortifications, and potential weaknesses. This intelligence allowed the Mongols to plan targeted attacks and exploit vulnerabilities in the Jin defenses. In a masterful display of diplomacy, Genghis Khan formed alliances with other enemies of the Jin, including the Song dynasty to the south. This strategic move created a multi-front assault on the Jin, forcing them to divide their attention and resources. The pressure from multiple directions weakened the Jin's ability to mount an effective defense against the Mongol onslaught. The Mongols also employed psychological warfare to great effect. They spread tales of their military prowess and the consequences of resistance, often exaggerating their numbers and the brutality of their conquests. This tactic served to demoralize Jin defenders and encouraged many cities to surrender without a fight, saving Mongol resources and minimizing casualties. As the campaign progressed, the Mongols systematically conquered Jin territories, capturing major cities and strategic points. The fall of the Jin capital, Zhengdu, modern-day Beijing, in 1215 marked a significant turning point in the conflict. Although the Jin emperor managed to escape and establish a new capital further south, the loss of their northern stronghold dealt a devastating blow to Jin power and morale. The conquest of the Jin Dynasty had far-reaching impacts on Mongol expansion. It provided the Mongols with vast new territories, including some of the most fertile agricultural lands in China. This acquisition not only expanded the empire's resources, but also gave them access to advanced Chinese technologies and skilled workers. The campaign against the Khwarezm Empire. As the dust settled on their Chinese conquests, Genghis Khan faced a critical decision. Should he consolidate his gains or push further west? The answer lay in a prosperous realm along the Silk Road, where a simple diplomatic gesture would spark one of the most devastating invasions in history. The Khwarezm Empire stood as a formidable power, controlling vast territories stretching from modern-day Iran to Central Asia. This wealthy kingdom held a strategic position along the Silk Road, making it a tempting target for Mongol expansion. Genghis Khan, ever the pragmatist, initially sought to establish peaceful trade relations with the Khwarezm Shah, Muhammad II. In 1218, Genghis Khan dispatched a large caravan of merchants and envoys to the Khwarezm Empire, aiming to open diplomatic channels and secure trade agreements. This gesture, however, was met with suspicion and hostility. The governor of Otrar, a frontier city of the Khwarezm Empire, accused the Mongol emissaries of being spies and ordered their execution. This grave miscalculation would prove to be the catalyst for one of the most devastating military campaigns in history. Upon learning of the massacre of his envoys, Genghis Khan was enraged. The violation of diplomatic immunity was considered a serious offense in Mongol culture, and the Khan saw no choice but to respond with force. He meticulously prepared for what would become a swift and brutal invasion of the Khwarezm Empire. The Mongol invasion began in 1219 with a massive force of approximately 200,000 warriors. Genghis Khan employed his trademark strategy of rapid cavalry movements, allowing his forces to cover vast distances and strike with unparalleled speed. The Khwarezm Empire, despite its size and wealth, was ill-prepared for the Mongol onslaught. One of the key factors in the Mongol success was their ability to adapt their tactics to the new terrain. Unlike the open steppes of Mongolia or the fortified cities of China, the Khwarezm Empire presented a mix of desert, mountains, and river valleys. The Mongols demonstrated remarkable flexibility, using their mobility to outmaneuver the Khwarezm forces in difficult terrain. Psychological warfare played a crucial role in the Mongol campaign. Genghis Khan expertly wielded fear as a weapon, spreading tales of Mongol ferocity and the futility of resistance. This tactic often led to the surrender of cities without a fight, saving Mongol resources and minimizing casualties. Those who did resist often faced brutal consequences, serving as a warning to others who might consider defying the Mongol advance. The Mongols employed a brilliant strategy of dividing their forces to simultaneously attack multiple Khwarezm cities. This approach overwhelmed the empire's defensive network, preventing them from concentrating their forces effectively. Key cities like Bukhara, Samarkand, and Urgench fell in rapid succession, their defenses crumbling before the Mongol war machine. The fall of Samarkand, the jewel of the Khwarezm Empire, was particularly significant. Despite its strong fortifications and large garrison, the city succumbed to the Mongol siege in just 3 days. This victory not only provided the Mongols with vast riches, but also dealt a devastating blow to Khwarezm morale. As the Mongols advanced, the Khwarezm Shah Muhammad II fled westward, abandoning his people and army. This act of cowardice further demoralized the Khwarezm forces and led to the rapid collapse of organized resistance. Genghis Khan, determined to make an example of the Shah, pursued him relentlessly across the empire. Although Muhammad II ultimately escaped to a small island in the Caspian Sea where he died in exile, his flight marked the effective end of the Khwarezm Empire. Expansion into Central Asia. Central Asia, a vast region stretching from the Caspian Sea to the borders of China, was a land of immense strategic importance. For centuries, it had been a melting pot of cultures, religions, and trade routes. The fabled Silk Road connecting east and west ran through its bustling cities and across its windswept steppes. This made Central Asia not just a valuable conquest, but a key to controlling the flow of goods and ideas across the known world. Genghis Khan recognized the potential of this region. By securing Central Asia, he could not only expand his empire, but also gain control over lucrative trade routes. Cities like Bukhara, Samarkand, and Merv were not just centers of commerce, but also repositories of knowledge and technology. These prizes would prove invaluable in the Mongols' quest for dominance. The Mongol approach to conquering Central Asia was multifaceted. Genghis Khan understood that the region's diverse and often fractious political landscape could be turned to his advantage. He employed a strategy of divide and conquer, exploiting existing rivalries and forming alliances with local factions to weaken regional powers. The Mongol military machine, honed by years of conquest, was well suited to the challenges of Central Asian warfare. Their highly mobile cavalry units could cover vast distances quickly, allowing them to outmaneuver their opponents. This mobility was crucial in a region where settlements were often separated by large stretches of desert or mountains. Psychological warfare, the hallmark of Mongol tactics, played a significant role in their Central Asian campaign. The reputation of Mongol ferocity preceded them, often causing cities to surrender without a fight. Those who resisted faced the full might of the Mongol army, serving as a stark warning to others who might consider defiance. The Siege of Bukhara in 1220 demonstrated the effectiveness of Mongol tactics. Despite its strong fortifications, the city fell after just a few days. The Mongols used a combination of psychological intimidation and military prowess to overwhelm the defenders. The fall of Bukhara sent shockwaves through Central Asia. demonstrating the futility of resistance against the Mongol onslaught. Samarkand, another jewel of Central Asia, soon followed. Its capture provided the Mongols with not only immense wealth, but also access to skilled artisans and scholars. Genghis Khan, recognizing the value of knowledge and expertise, often spared those with useful skills, incorporating them into his growing empire. As the Mongols advanced deeper into Central Asia, they encountered a diverse array of cultures and religions. Genghis Khan, known for his religious tolerance, allowed conquered peoples to maintain their faiths and customs as long as they submitted to Mongol rule. This policy helped to stabilize newly conquered territories and facilitated the integration of diverse peoples into the empire. The conquest of Central Asia marked a turning point for the Mongol Empire. It transformed them from a formidable military force into a truly intercontinental power. Control over the Silk Road and other trade routes allowed the Mongols to profit from and regulate commerce between East and West. This economic power would fuel further expansion and consolidate their hold over their vast territories. The Siege of Samarkand. Samarkand, the jewel of Central Asia, was a city of legend. Its name alone conjured images of exotic markets, grand palaces, and streets paved with gold. For centuries, it had been a crucial hub along the Silk Road, where merchants from East and West converged to trade goods and ideas. The city's strategic location and immense wealth made it a prime target for Genghis Khan's expanding empire. But Samarkand was no easy prize. Its defenses were renowned throughout the known world. Massive walls, said to be impenetrable, encircled the city. Watchtowers dotted the skyline, allowing defenders to spot approaching armies from miles away. The garrison was well-equipped and highly trained, prepared to withstand long sieges. Many believed that Samarkand would be the rock upon which the Mongol wave would finally break. Genghis Khan, however, was not one to shy away from a challenge. He recognized that capturing Samarkand was crucial to solidifying Mongol control over Central Asia and the lucrative trade routes that passed through it. The Khan's reputation for military brilliance would be put to the ultimate test against the city's formidable defenses. The Mongol army arrived at Samarkand in 1220, fresh from their victories across Central Asia. Their approach was marked by an eerie silence, a calm before the storm that unnerved the city's defenders. Genghis Khan's first move was not a direct assault, but a masterclass in psychological warfare. The Mongols began parading captured soldiers and civilians from nearby towns before the walls of Samarkand. This grim spectacle served a dual purpose: to demoralize the defenders and to gather intelligence. The Mongols questioned these captives within earshot of the city walls, extracting valuable information about Samarkand's defenses and supplies. Next, Genghis Khan employed a tactic that had served him well in previous sieges. He ordered his troops to light thousands of campfires at night, far more than necessary for his actual force. This simple trick created the illusion of an overwhelmingly large army, further eroding the defenders' will to resist. As the psychological pressure mounted, the Mongols began their military assault. They used a combination of traditional siege engines and innovative tactics. Catapults hurled massive stones at the city walls, while Mongol engineers worked to undermine the foundations. Archers kept up a constant barrage, preventing defenders from effectively manning the battlements. One of the most effective Mongol tactics was their use of human shields. Captured civilians were forced to march in front of Mongol soldiers, preventing the defenders with an awful choice: fire on their own people or allow the enemy to approach unchallenged. This cruel strategy often paralyzed defenders, allowing the Mongols to gain crucial ground. Despite these tactics, Samarkand's defenses held firm for several days. The city's garrison fought bravely, repelling several Mongol assaults. But as the siege wore on, cracks began to appear in Samarkand's resolve. Food and water supplies dwindled, and the constant psychological pressure took its toll. The turning point came when a group of Turkish mercenaries within the city decided to switch sides. They opened up one of the gates, allowing Mongol forces to pour into Samarkand. Chaos erupted as the defenders scrambled to contain the breach, but it was too late. The Mongol army, like a flood through a broken dam, swept through the streets of the once invincible city. For Genghis Khan, the capture of Samarkand was more than just another conquest. It provided the Mongols with vast riches, including gold, silk, and precious stones. More importantly, it gave them control over a key node in the Silk Road network, allowing them to regulate and profit from trade between East and West. The Battle of Kalka River. While Samarkand marked a triumph in Central Asia, the Mongols soon faced a new challenge in Eastern Europe. At the Battle of Kalka River in 1223, Genghis Khan's generals encountered a formidable alliance of Rus princes and Cuman warriors. But how could the smaller Mongol force hope to defeat this combined army on unfamiliar terrain? The Battle of Kalka River stands as a pivotal moment in the Mongol expansion westward. The confrontation pitted the Mongol forces against a coalition of Rus principalities and their Cuman allies. For the Mongols, this battle was more than just another conquest. It was a strategic move to weaken regional powers and gather crucial intelligence for future campaigns in Eastern Europe. The Mongol army, led by generals Jebe and Subutai, employed a tactic that had served them well in previous engagements: the feigned retreat. This strategy involved deliberately withdrawing from the battlefield, luring the enemy into a false sense of security and breaking their formation. The Rus and Cuman forces, eager for victory, took the bait. As the Allied forces pursued what they believed to be a retreating enemy, they became stretched out and disorganized. The Mongols, meanwhile, maintained their discipline and coordination. When the moment was right, they suddenly turned and launched a devastating counterattack, encircling their opponents and cutting off any chance of escape. The lack of cohesion among the Rus and Cuman allies played right into the Mongols' hands. While the Mongol army operated as a single well-oiled machine, their opponents struggled with conflicting strategies and poor communication. This disunity proved fatal when faced with the highly organized and disciplined Mongol force. The battle showcased the superior tactics and organization of the Mongol military. Their ability to execute complex maneuvers like the feigned retreat with precision demonstrated a level of training and coordination that far surpassed their opponents. This military prowess allowed them to overcome the numerical advantage of the Rus and Kumang coalition. For the Rus principalities, the Battle of Kalka River came as a shock. They had underestimated the Mongol threat, believing their combined forces would be more than enough to repel these unfamiliar invaders. The decisive defeat shattered this illusion and instilled a deep-seated fear of Mongol military might. The aftermath of the battle had far-reaching consequences. News of the Mongol victory spread quickly, striking terror into the hearts of other Eastern European rulers. This fear would pave the way for future Mongol incursions, as many chose submission over resistance when faced with the prospect of Mongol invasion. However, the Mongols did not immediately follow up on their victory at Kalka River. They withdrew to consolidate their gains in Central Asia, leaving the Rus principalities to recover and prepare for future conflicts. This respite would prove short-lived, as the lessons learned at Kalka River would inform future Mongol campaigns in the region. Conquering Persia and the Silk Road. As the dust settled on the Mongol victory at Kalka River, Genghis Khan's ambitions grew ever larger. His eyes turned to a land of ancient empires and unimaginable wealth, Persia. This pivotal region, straddling the famed Silk Road, promised not just riches, but control over the very arteries of trade connecting East and West. How would the conquest of this cultural powerhouse reshape the face of two continents? Persia, modern-day Iran, was no easy target. Its history stretched back millennia, boasting a legacy of powerful empires and advanced civilization. Cities like Isfahan and Nishapur were renowned centers of learning and culture. The Persian military, hardened by centuries of conflict, was a force to be reckoned with. Yet for Genghis Khan, the potential rewards far outweighed the risks. The Mongol strategy for conquering Persia was a masterclass in military efficiency. Rather than concentrating their forces for a single massive assault, Genghis Khan divided his army into smaller, highly mobile units. These groups would strike simultaneously at multiple targets across the Persian Empire, preventing any coordinated defense. This tactic of dividing to conquer proved devastatingly effective. Persian cities found themselves isolated, unable to call for reinforcements or organize a united front against the Mongol onslaught. The speed and ferocity of these attacks often left defenders shell-shocked, further eroding their will to resist. Psychological warfare, a hallmark of Mongol conquest, played a crucial role in the Persian campaign. The reputation of Mongol brutality preceded them, striking fear into the hearts of their enemies. Cities that surrendered quickly were often spared, while those that resisted faced total destruction. This carrot-and-stick approach encouraged many Persian leaders to submit without a fight, preserving their lives and prosperity in exchange for Mongol rule. The fall of key cities like Bukhara and Samarkand sent shockwaves through the Persian Empire. These conquests not only provided the Mongols with valuable resources and strategic positions, but also demonstrated the futility of resistance. As news of these victories spread, many Persian rulers chose submission over certain destruction. One of the most significant aspects of the Mongol conquest of Persia was its impact on the Silk Road. This ancient network of trade routes had long been a source of wealth and cultural exchange between East and West. Under Mongol control, the Silk Road entered a new era of security and efficiency. The Pax Mongolica, or Mongol Peace, allowed merchants to travel vast distances without fear of bandits or local warlords. The Mongols didn't just conquer Persia, they integrated it into their growing empire. Persian scholars, artisans, and administrators were often spared and incorporated into the Mongol system. This policy of assimilation allowed the Mongols to benefit from Persian expertise in areas like mathematics, astronomy, and governance. The conquest of Persia marked a turning point for the Mongol Empire. It transformed them from a formidable military force into a true world power, bridging East and West. Control over the Silk Road gave the Mongols unprecedented economic influence, allowing them to shape global trade patterns. Establishing the Mongol Empire's law, the Yassa. With an empire spanning continents, Genghis Khan faced a daunting challenge: how to govern such vast and diverse territories. His solution would become legendary, shaping the very fabric of Mongol society and echoing through history. The Yassa, a comprehensive legal code, emerged as the cornerstone of Mongol governance, transforming a confederation of nomadic tribes into a cohesive empire. The Yassa was more than just a set of laws. It was a unifying force, designed to bring order and stability to the rapidly expanding Mongol realm. Genghis Khan recognized that military conquest alone wasn't enough to build a lasting empire. He needed a system that could bind together peoples of different cultures, religions, and traditions under a single rule of law. This legal code covered a wide range of aspects, from military discipline to social conduct. It laid out clear rules for crime and punishment, administration, and even personal behavior. The Yassa was unique in its scope and application, applying equally to all subjects of the empire, from the lowliest soldier to the highest-ranking general. One of the most revolutionary aspects of the Yassa was its emphasis on meritocracy. In a departure from traditional societal structures, Genghis Khan's code rewarded loyalty and skill rather than noble birth. This approach aligned perfectly with his belief in capability over lineage, opening up opportunities for talented individuals regardless of their background. The Yassa was known for its severe penalties for disobedience and betrayal. While this might seem harsh by modern standards, it served a crucial purpose in maintaining discipline and preventing internal conflicts. In a vast empire composed of formerly warring tribes, the threat of swift and severe punishment acted as a powerful deterrent against rebellion and treachery. By ensuring fair treatment and consistent rules across the empire, the Yassa played a key role in fostering loyalty among Mongol generals and subjects alike. It created a sense of predictability and justice that was often lacking in other empires of the time. This stability was crucial for maintaining control over such a vast territory. The impact of the Yassa extended far beyond simple law enforcement. It shaped the entire administrative structure of the Mongol Empire. The code laid out clear guidelines for governance, taxation, and military organization. This standardization allowed the Mongols to effectively manage territories stretching from China to Persia. One of the most enduring legacies of the Yassa was its contribution to creating a unified, law-abiding society within the Mongol Empire. By applying the same rules to all subjects, regardless of their ethnic or cultural background, it helped break down barriers between conquered peoples and their Mongol rulers. The code's influence extended beyond the lifetime of Genghis Khan. His successors continued to use and adapt the Yassa, ensuring its principles remained at the heart of Mongol rule for generations. Even after the empire fragmented, many of its constituent parts continued to base their legal systems on the foundations laid by the Yassa. Administration and governance of the Mongol Empire. Genghis Khan's empire stretched across an unprecedented expanse of territory, encompassing a multitude of cultures, languages, and religions. This diversity presented unique challenges for administration and governance. How could one system effectively manage such a vast and varied realm? The key to Mongol governance lay in its flexibility. Genghis Khan adopted a decentralized approach, allowing local leaders to maintain a degree of autonomy as long as they pledged loyalty and paid tribute to the Mongols. This strategy helped to minimize resistance and maintain stability across the empire. Local customs and traditions were often respected, reducing the likelihood of uprisings and fostering a sense of continuity for conquered peoples. At the same time, Genghis Khan established a clear chain of command within both the military and administrative hierarchies. This structure ensured efficient control and coordination across vast distances. Orders could be transmitted quickly and effectively, allowing the Mongols to respond rapidly to threats or opportunities anywhere in their vast domain. One of the most innovative aspects of Mongol administration was the emphasis on meritocracy. In a departure from traditional systems based on hereditary privilege, Genghis Khan promoted individuals based on their skills and abilities, regardless of their background. This approach allowed talented individuals from all corners of the empire to rise to positions of power, bringing fresh perspectives and expertise to Mongol governance. To facilitate communication across the empire, Genghis Khan established a network of relay stations known as the Yam system. These stations, spaced about 20 miles apart, allowed messengers to travel quickly across vast distances, changing horses at each station. This system ensured the rapid transmission of messages and orders, effectively shrinking the vast empire and allowing for more centralized control. Religious tolerance was another cornerstone of Mongol administration. Genghis Khan recognized that attempting to impose a single faith across such a diverse empire would likely lead to conflict and instability. Instead, he adopted a policy of religious freedom, allowing conquered peoples to maintain their beliefs and practices. This approach helped to maintain peace and stability, reducing the likelihood of religiously motivated uprisings. The Mongols also implemented a sophisticated system of taxation and resource management. They conducted regular censuses to accurately assess populations and resources, allowing for more efficient taxation and military recruitment. This systematic approach to governance helped to maximize the empire's economic potential and military strength. One of the most significant impacts of Mongol administration was the facilitation of trade and cultural exchange. The Pax Mongolica, or Mongol Peace, created a vast, stable region where merchants could travel safely. This led to an unprecedented flow of goods, ideas, and technologies across Eurasia, fostering cultural and scientific advancements that would shape the world for centuries to come. The legacy of Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan's impact on world history is difficult to overstate. He created the largest contiguous land empire ever seen, stretching from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe. This vast realm encompassed an incredible diversity of peoples, cultures, and religions. But the true legacy of Genghis Khan lies not just in the territory he conquered, but in the lasting changes he brought to the world. One of the most significant aspects of Genghis Khan's legacy was his approach to governance. He introduced a system of meritocracy that was revolutionary for the time. In the Mongol Empire, ability and loyalty were valued over noble birth or family connections. This system allowed talented individuals from all backgrounds to rise to positions of power, bringing fresh ideas and expertise to the empire's administration. The concept of meritocracy would go on to influence many future societies and governments. Religious tolerance was another hallmark of Genghis Khan's rule. In an era when religious persecution was common, the Mongol Empire stood out for its policy of religious freedom. Genghis Khan recognized that attempting to impose a single faith across such a diverse empire would likely lead to conflict and instability. Instead, he allowed conquered peoples to maintain their beliefs and practices. This approach helped to maintain peace and stability within the empire and set a precedent for religious tolerance that would influence future rulers. The Yassa, Genghis Khan's legal code, was a unifying force that brought order and stability to the vast Mongol realm. It applied equally to all subjects of the empire, from the lowliest soldier to the highest-ranking general. The Yassa's emphasis on fair treatment and consistent rules fostered loyalty among Mongol subjects and created a sense of predictability and justice that was often lacking in other empires of the time. Many of its principles continued to influence legal systems long after the Mongol Empire's decline. Perhaps one of the most profound impacts of Genghis Khan's rule was the creation of the Pax Mongolica, or Mongol Peace. This period of relative stability across a vast swath of Eurasia facilitated unprecedented levels of trade and cultural exchange. The Silk Road, which had long been a conduit for goods and ideas between the East and West, flourished under Mongol protection. Merchants could travel safely across thousands of miles, leading to a boom in commerce and the exchange of technologies and innovations. The Pax Mongolica had far-reaching consequences that extended well beyond trade. It allowed for the exchange of ideas, scientific knowledge, and cultural practices on a scale never before seen. Chinese innovations like gunpowder and printing technology spread westward, while crops like carrots and apples traveled east. This cross-pollination of ideas and technologies helped to spur advancements in fields ranging from astronomy to medicine. However, the legacy of Genghis Khan is not without controversy. The Mongol conquests were often brutal, resulting in widespread destruction and loss of life. Many cities that resisted Mongol rule were razed to the ground, and entire populations were sometimes massacred as a warning to others. This aspect of Genghis Khan's legacy has led to ongoing debates about the moral implications of his conquests and the balance between the positive and negative impacts of his rule. The death of Genghis Khan and the succession struggles. As Genghis Khan's life came to an end, a new chapter in Mongol history was about to unfold. The Great Khan's death in 1227 set in motion a series of events that would test the very foundations of the empire he had built. How would the Mongols maintain their power and continue their conquests without their legendary leader? Genghis Khan's final campaign was against the Western Xia, a kingdom he had previously conquered, but which had rebelled against Mongol rule. During this campaign, he fell ill and died in August 1227. The exact circumstances of his death remain a mystery, as his followers took extraordinary measures to keep it secret. They suppressed any witnesses and went to great lengths to conceal the location of his burial site. The secrecy surrounding Genghis Khan's death served several purposes. It prevented news of his passing from reaching enemies who might have seen it as an opportunity to attack. It also allowed time for the Mongol leadership to implement the succession plan Genghis Khan had put in place before his death. This plan involved dividing the empire among his sons, with each receiving a portion to rule. However, Genghis Khan had also appointed his third son, Ogedei, as his successor and overall ruler of the empire. This decision was not without controversy, as it passed over his eldest son, Joshi, who had already died, and his second son, Chagatai. The succession process was fraught with challenges. Despite Genghis Khan's clear instructions, rivalries between different factions threatened to tear the empire apart. Some supported Ogedei, while others backed Tolui, Genghis Khan's youngest son, who had been given control of the Mongol heartland. Genghis Khan's family played a crucial role in navigating these turbulent waters. His wife, Borta, who had been with him since before his rise to power, used her influence to support Ogedei's claim. The support of Genghis Khan's brothers and other high-ranking Mongol leaders was also crucial in maintaining stability during this transition period. It took 2 years after Genghis Khan's death for the succession to be finalized. In 1229, at a great assembly known as the Kurultai, Ogedei was officially proclaimed as the new Great Khan. This event marked a turning point in Mongol history, demonstrating that the empire could survive the loss of its founder and continue to function under new leadership. The succession process established by Genghis Khan set a precedent for future transitions of power within the Mongol Empire. While it didn't always prevent conflict, it provided a framework for resolving disputes and maintaining the unity of the empire. This system would continue to influence Mongol politics for generations to come. The Mongol Empire after Genghis Khan. Ogedei Khan, Genghis Khan's third son and chosen successor, faced the daunting task of maintaining unity across the vast Mongol territories. The empire stretched from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe, encompassing a diverse array of cultures, languages, and religions. Ogedei's challenge was to keep this massive realm together while continuing the expansion that had defined his father's rule. One of Ogedei's first major decisions was to establish a permanent capital for the empire. He chose Karakorum, located in the Mongolian heartland, as the site for this new city. This move represented a significant shift for the Mongols, who had traditionally been a nomadic people. The creation of a fixed capital symbolized the transition from a purely nomadic empire to one with a more settled administrative structure. Karakorum became a symbol of Mongol power and a center for trade and diplomacy. The city attracted merchants, artisans, and envoys from across Eurasia, fostering cultural exchange and economic growth. This cosmopolitan atmosphere reflected the diverse nature of the Mongol Empire itself. Despite the focus on establishing a centralized administration, Ogedei did not neglect military expansion. He continued his father's policy of conquest, launching campaigns into Eastern Europe and completing the subjugation of the Jin Dynasty in China. These military successes helped to maintain the Mongols' reputation as an unstoppable force and secured valuable new territories and resources for the empire. To govern such a vast realm effectively, Ogedei implemented a series of administrative reforms. He divided the empire into administrative units, each overseen by appointed governors. This system allowed for more efficient governance and tax collection across the diverse territories under Mongol control. Ogedei also maintained and expanded the Yam system, a network of relay stations established by Genghis Khan. This communication network was crucial for maintaining control over the far-flung reaches of the empire, allowing for rapid transmission of orders and information. One of the key institutions that helped maintain unity among Genghis Khan's descendants was the Kurultai, or Great Assembly. These gatherings brought together Mongol leaders to make major decisions collectively, ensuring that power was not concentrated solely in the hands of the Great Khan. The Kurultai played a crucial role in resolving disputes and maintaining the cohesion of the empire. Ogedei's rule also saw the continued development of the Yassa, the legal code established by Genghis Khan. This system of laws provided a framework for governance across the empire, helping to maintain order and stability despite the diverse nature of Mongol territories. The post-Genghis Khan period was marked by significant cultural and technological exchange. The Pax Mongolica, or Mongol Peace, allowed for unprecedented movement of goods, ideas, and people across Eurasia. This period saw advancements in fields such as astronomy, medicine, and cartography, as knowledge from different parts of the empire was shared and synthesized. Ogedei's reign saw the expansion of the Mongol postal system, which facilitated not only official communication, but also trade and cultural exchange. This network of roads and relay stations connected distant parts of the empire, further integrating the vast territories under Mongol control. Despite these achievements, the period during Genghis Khan's death was not without challenges. Rivalries between different branches of the royal family threatened the unity of the empire. Ogedei had to navigate these complex family politics while maintaining his authority as the Great Khan. Impact on the world, trade, culture, and warfare. The Mongol Empire's impact on global trade networks laid an early foundation for the interconnected world we live in today. The revitalization of the Silk Road ensured a stable and secure environment for merchants, setting the stage for the development of modern international trade systems. The concept of free and safe trade routes continues to influence how countries collaborate economically in the present day. The Mongols' emphasis on meritocracy also has echoes in today's world. Genghis Khan's practice of valuing skill and loyalty over noble birth laid the groundwork for systems that reward individuals based on their abilities rather than their social class. This concept is reflected in modern governance, where merit-based advancement is considered a cornerstone of many successful institutions. The Mongol postal relay system, known as the YAM, served as a precursor to modern communication networks. Its efficiency and structure inspired postal systems across the world, contributing to the evolution of communication infrastructure that facilitates our global connectivity today. Religious tolerance under Mongol rule serves as an early example of multicultural governance that resonates in the contemporary era. The Mongols' policy of allowing conquered peoples to practice their own religions contributed to stability and unity, setting an example for modern societies that strive for religious freedom and inclusivity. The cultural exchanges facilitated by Mongol rule had lasting effects, particularly in the movement of technologies like gunpowder, printing, and the compass to Europe. These innovations were instrumental in the development of the Renaissance and eventually shaped the technological advances that define the modern world. Mongol military tactics, emphasizing speed, adaptability, and psychological warfare, continue to be studied and implemented in modern military strategy. Concepts such as rapid deployment and precision strikes bear the influence of Mongol warfare principles, demonstrating their enduring impact on military doctrines. The Mongol Empire's approach to connecting disparate regions through trade, cultural exchange, and administrative practices laid the groundwork for today's interconnected global society. Their emphasis on communication, trade, and governance innovations continues to influence modern civilization in ways that are still evident, from international commerce to societal structures that value diversity and competence. As we conclude our journey through the rise of the Mongol Empire, it's clear that Genghis Khan's vision reshaped the world. From uniting the Mongol tribes to creating a vast empire that spanned continents, the Mongols left a lasting mark on trade, culture, and governance. Their influence continues to echo in our modern world, reminding us of both the achievements and the complexities of their legacy. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more history documentaries coming soon, and tell us in the comments which part of the documentary you found most interesting. Thank you for watching and being a part of our journey through history. We'll see you in the next documentary, and until then, make sure to check out our previous documentaries.